Hi guys, and this is our final leveled learning center with Among the Hidden by Margaret Peterson Haddix. When you go to your center, you are going to find 3 sheets of paper. There's going to be a set of instructions for the whole table. There's going to be a blank page with a box. That's where you're going to do the first part of your project, and then on the next sheet, it's going to be just a lined piece of paper. So before we begin, this is a multi-step project. So you will have 15 minutes for the first part, and then I will come back and help you with the second part. So does anybody know what propaganda is or how propaganda is used? You might have learned this in your social studies or history class. All right, so let's begin. Let's go over it. So the name of this project is Take-A-Ganda at Propaganda. And it says propaganda is information used to either demonize, which means like to give a bad name, give a bad image, a bad message, or mislead to portray a political cause or a viewpoint. So directions in part 1. You are going to create a propaganda poster that would be used in Among the Hidden. You need to be sure to include a tagline, visual images, and a clear message that is portrayed in your poster. Please be creative. You will have 15 minutes to complete this poster. So, as an example, I made my own poster. So your paper should look like this. Obviously, this is going to look different. Now, I did the 3+ because it's only 2 children allowed in this society, with the stop sign going in between. And it says, only 2 is enough for you. So, what I want you to do is you're going to create your own tagline, you're going to do your own images, and you're going to make sure the poster has a message. Now, you don't have to write a second thing on your poster. Just make sure the message from your tagline is clear and coherent. What you're going to need, and it should be at your table, but if it's not, what you're going to need is you're going to need a pen or pencil. You're going to need crayons, markers, or colored pencils, whichever one you like to use. Some people prefer crayons, some people prefer markers. It's okay, it's your poster. Alright, so I will be back in 15 minutes. Alright, now we're going to head on to part 2 of your poster. Now this is where you should have a piece of paper that has lines, just like a normal, it looks kind of like a normal sheet of paper. Instead it has lines and it has your name. So what you're going to do for part 2, it says you're going to write if this is an effective poster based on your viewpoint. You're going to choose a viewpoint to stand with, either a hidden child or a government official. Here are some thoughts to help guide you. Does this poster make you feel something? If so, what do you feel? Does this poster have a clear message? What is your message? Where do you think your poster would be hung? Would it be hung on the side of a building or like on a telephone pole? Please be creative. Make sure you use complete sentences. And when you're done, be sure to discuss your answers with your group mates. So the standard I decided to use this for a high-level reading group because 1, it's multi-step, and 2, it's cross-curricular, so they're using something that they've most likely have learned in a different course, but now using it in this course as well. I wanted them to be creative and to think from different viewpoints. Like, oh, I'm making a propaganda poster against hidden children, or I'm making a propaganda poster that was made by a hidden child. So either poster is correct as long as they are able to back up and prove that it's an effective poster. Now in part 2, this is where I wanted their literary skills and critical thinking to come through. They can use the questions to guide them, and they're basically proving like, yes, my poster is effective from this viewpoint. Now, I'm not expecting them all to be hidden children or all to be government officials. It's whatever they think is easiest to produce their viewpoint as well. Which it can be hard choosing different viewpoints because most of us are rooting when we're reading Among the Hidden. We're rooting for Luke and all the hidden children. But however, for this project, it's like, oh, if I was a government official, would this make sense? Oh, or if I was a hidden child, would this make sense? So this is where they get to use creative and critical thinking skills to back up their poster, of course, with complete sentences and correct grammar. So the standards I use for this is LAFS 6 SL 1.1, engage actively in a range of collaborative discussions, one-on-one, teacher-led, in groups, with diverse partners on sixth grade topics, texts, and issues, building on others' ideas and expressing their own clearly. And then I did LAFS 6W 1.2, write informative or explanatory text to examine a topic and convey ideas, concepts, and information through the selection, organization, and analysis of relevant content. So what they're doing is they're analyzing their own work and putting their own reasoning behind it, just like with the chat bubbles or with the other projects. Like, it's their own reasoning for these projects. So I came up with this project, I looked at Book Rags. They have a ton of ideas that you can use to modify as your own. And I saw ones like make a poster. So I decided to use propaganda because I know in some history classes you're starting to learn about different viewpoints from historical perspectives. So I figured propaganda would be a good one, especially in one where this book is so politically charged with different ideas. I felt like that would be a fun activity. And then I made it for high-level readers by adding another step to where they have to analyze this as well. So I used Book Rags to find most of the ideas. I used it for the chat bubbles, I used it for the poster, but I didn't use what they handed out or what they had as references. I used the idea and I modified it to the content that I'm instructing for the centers. So the rubric, it follows the same 16-point format as the other so that everybody's graded on the same point system. However, I did change the two main components. I kept following instructions and the neatness of the center area the same, but I did change like organization of the poster. Did they include the tagline, the images, and does it have a clear message? Did they include some? Did they not do any of it? And then I added the component for the reader response. Did they answer the question? Did they choose a viewpoint? And then were they able to support their answer? So that way everybody's still graded on the 16-point scale, but the rubrics are modified to that activity and to that reading and English language proficiency level.